What time is it? It's time for another video. That's what I like to say. Hey, the last time I left you, I'm in a kitchen. I just installed some eyeball can lights. Now I have to do a little patching on the ceiling. You already know, if you've been watching my channel, I've got all these videos on my channel, so you need to check them out. And I've already showed you how to patch little sheetrock patch ceiling areas, and I'm going to do that again. I'm not going to go as slow this time because I think you already know how to patch ceilings, but I'm going to do it anyways because that's part of this project. Okay, so that's my next step. We're getting ready to get the painter back here, but we've got to finish patching the ceiling up here, and I've got a little skip trowel finish to put on here before I call the painter back. You want to check that out? Stick around. Whenever I patch holes, I always use my self-adhesive webbing tape, and I've got some right here, and I've got just some tin snips. Some sharp tin snips. You don't have to use a putty knife to cut this. I'm just going to put it up over that. That's it. I've got a couple small little holes up here. Those little holes are ready to be patched. I split the difference on your seam area. This time I got my little putty knife, put that on there, and rip it off. Overlap it this way a little bit. Rip. So much cleaner to use this than paper tape. The paper tape, you know, you got to put the mud on first and then get up there and get yourself all muddy. Quick as that. You ready to put your mud on? I'm just going to put this on with my 3-inch. And I could use a 6-inch or a 4-inch if I had it. If I had a 4-inch, I'd probably use a 4-inch. I still want to be careful when I put it on so I don't spooge it and have it fall off the side. You know, so I kind of wipe the edges off as I go on my pan. And I'm just going to put just enough to cover up the tape. I mean, I could use a 6-inch knife up here, but it's such a small patch, I might as well just do it this way. And this will give you a good idea of how to use your knife. It's basically the same when you put the 6-inch up, except you're going to make the patch bigger, you know. I'm just wanting to show you that yes, something this small, you can use your 3-inch knife or a 4. I'm using quickset. The reason why I'm using quickset is because I want it to dry quick. That's why you call it quickset. The store, they don't say, it doesn't say quickset. It's just a fast drying compound, and it comes in a dry mix, and you have to mix it up with water. And I've got all those videos on my channel if you want to check that out. just try to stay out from exactly underneath it so that you don't get it coming down on your face or something. But you'll get the hang of it. That's all I'm going to do with the first coat. I'm just going to kind of make it flat, and you'll see how much to put on. You want to try to cover as much of the tape as you can. If you see the tape peeking out over the edge, you know, that's okay. Wanting to keep the edges kind of smoothed down, and you'll note that when you do that, you might have an indentation on the inside where you think, oh man, how much more mud do I need to put on there? But that's all I'm going to do on the first coat. The second coat, I'm going to use my 6-inch knife, and I'm going to go out further. Okay. After that, I'll probably end up filling in the rest of the square patch. When you ever have a square patch, the key is on a square patch like this, ultimately you want to fill in all of the other area too. Okay, and we'll kind of blend it down into the existing, the new light fixture. Okay, if you didn't have a new light fixture, if you just had a patch like that in your wall, you don't want to just patch it like this and like that, because then the inside is going to be low, and you're going to see that when you get all done. Your patch, your ultimate patch, is going to be probably out this wide, okay, way out there, so you can blend it all in. You want to trick the eye, so then you're going to float in that small patch because it's a square like that. You see what I mean? There's a tip for you, because some people don't do that. They just try to do the seam, and then they think, oh, I'll get the seam just fine. You know, they do that, and then they get ready to paint, and they paint, and they see that big old huge goober in the middle of their ceiling, wondering, why is it like that? Okay, so here was my tape here. I'm just going to go over it. My little knife, and you know, I've got a little bit around here I can just put in without using my knife or without using the self-adhesive webbing tape. I could have put a little piece in there, but I'm going to do it like this. Just grab just a little. And once that dries, I'll go over that again. Here I've got a little hole right there. I could have put a piece of webbing tape. It's a small enough hole that I can do that. I've got some screw holes there. Because I've got my construction light on, I can see exactly where the screw holes were to hold up these fluorescent light fixtures. And I'm going to look down each one of those lines and get anything that I think needs to be hit. When you do little screw holes, sometimes you put the mud on, and sometimes some of it wants to come off, so you may have to do it in a couple different directions. Okay. I'm not even going to shut the camera off. I want you to see that it's not that difficult to do these things. Okay. And with the webbing tape, because you know that hole seemed pretty big, didn't it? But with the webbing tape, you just take the mud, and as you depress it and press it in there, it goes up through those holes. Okay, you want to do that, you know, just a couple times over a hole like that. When that dries, we're going to put a little bit more on there, and it's almost going to be like a flat metal shield. Once it dries, this stuff dries stout. You know, that's why I'm gonna put a couple more coats over that, and I can do that because this is non-shrinking and it's gonna dry really super quick. That way I can get all my patches done in one day. That's the trick. And now you know. If you filled all these imperfections with regular all-purpose joint compound, you might think, oh, that's all I have to do. I don't have any quickset. I don't even know what quickset is. I don't want to. Now it's something else. I got to learn how to mix up something in the dry form. I'm just going to buy the stuff from the store and be done with it. And once you get done putting it on with the all-purpose, you think you're fine, you think it's all nice and smooth, and you get ready to paint, and you see all the screw holes because they sunk in when it dried, because it's going to shrink as it dries, and you've got to let it cure all the way before you put the next coat on. You might think, oh, that's not very much, it'll dry. Well, it's pretty deep, so all of that stuff has to dry all the way. So now, you know, you're not going to get your patches done in one day now, are you? It's going to take more than a day, or else you're going to see those little holes later on. That's why I like to use the quickset. As I'm going over that, I want to make sure I get everything flat. Some people make the mistake of putting it on there thinking, oh, I'm only putting on a little bit. And they put it on there and they don't wipe all of it off. Now you have a slight little ridge on there, so that next time you get more of a ridge, or all of a sudden you can see exactly where all your patches are because you weren't careful. For just putting up a little bit, you weren't even careful. Okay? So is there a right and wrong way to do just about anything? Of course there is. Little dab will do ya. Okay, I'm going to get the rest of these little screws and let that dry, and I'll put the next coat on. Not going to take very long. I'm using 40-minute quickset, and you know, if I had like some 5-minute or 15-minute quickset, I would have used that, you know, but I didn't, and I don't like to carry, you know, 2 or 3 bags around with me. I mean, I could leave it in the garage or whatever, but, you know, I get by with the 40. And it's going to take a little bit longer for it to dry, but I'm not doing that many patches. And so there's certain things I can do in between while I'm waiting for it to dry to put the next coat on. Okay? Get ready for your second coat of quickset coming up. And once you think you're all done with your patches, go around again. Now that you got your lights, get down on the ground. I was up on a little step stool. Or if you're up on a ladder or something and you think, okay, I got it all, you get down on the floor, just stand there and kind of look around. If you think you've missed some spots, you know, now you can go ahead and get them taken care of. And I see one more little spot I forgot about. I put a little screw up there to hold my chalk line. It's not a very big hole, but it'll show up if you paint, and if you miss that, that'll show up. Even if you think, oh, I'll remember that one, I'll put a little heavy mud on there when I skip trowel the surface, and then you forget, and then that shows up, and you think, there's a hole up there, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one, and oh man, look at this seam here, I should have hit that. You know, now's a good chance. You can look at the existing ceiling area. So I'm going to patch from there. It's going to get repainted from there to there. And I can look on there and see if there's any high ridges on the existing, see if anything needs to be knocked down, see if there's a seam that's kind of puckered or something, and fix that. Or if there's a low area, I can put a little bit extra mud in there. Now's your chance, because you know what? You own this section of ceiling now because you're patching it. You want to make sure it looks good.